breaking down all 22 things you missed from Survivor Season 43, Episode 3.
Careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. And make sure to stick around as we announce last week's buff giveaway winner. If you want to enter next week's buff giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and just comment down below your thoughts on the season so far. Let's get started with number 22, Bessie After Tribal. It's kind of hit or miss if we get a previously on Survivor segment at the very start of the episode, but don't worry, Jesse and Cody are going to give us a little bit of a recap here. He finds the Beware advantage, decides to open it, is successfully able to collect all the beads, and in the process votes out Justine. Meaning the power trio on this Vessi tribe is Jesse, Cody, and NECA. And that leads perfectly into number 21, Noelle and Dwight. I mean, not much explaining to do here. You got 5 people on this Vessi tribe, and if 3 of them are in an alliance together, it means only 2 of them are left. Noelle thinks she's on the bottom here for being so close with Justine for those first couple episodes, and Dwight's just upset with Jesse for not voting his way last tribal council, even though Dwight didn't have his vote at the last tribal council. The good old saying, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. Deep down, I think Noelle and Dwight will never fully trust Jesse again. We'll get into this later in the video, but because of what happens at tribal council, I think this was a mistake on Jesse's part. Number 20, Baka check-in. I'm seeing a lot of speculation in the Survivor community. In my YouTube comments, on Facebook, on Reddit, people are speculating that Gabler might get medevaced at some point. Look, either it's gonna be a crazy underdog story arc and my winner pick prediction's gonna be correct, Gabler's gonna win the game, or he's just gonna flop over and die at some point, as it feels like every single episode he's complaining about something. It gets a little bit confusing here, so bear with me, but the bigger group wants to know what Gabler thinks the rules of his own hidden immunity idol is. We get Sammy and Ellie talking back and forth, where Sammy's not liking the cockiness on Ellie's end. Number 19, Gabler versus Ellie. Firstly, we get this awesome quote, this awesome confessional from Sammy.
My tribe thinks I'm 22 years old, living young, wild, and free. My tribe has no idea that I'm 19 years old.
Sammy's so pissed off with Ellie here that he goes to Gabler about this entire idol situation. Again, it's really confusing. They don't know if Gabler knows that they know about the idol. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This is all regarding snooping into Gabler's bag last episode. Sammy and Gabler decide to talk about this in front of Owen, which Owen was there when the initial snooping went on last episode, so that means Owen's in the middle of this entire tribe. We see Ellie try to convince Gabler that his own idol is fake, but then we also see Gabler try to convince Ellie that his own idol is fake. Look, in the first 2 episodes, I was super high on Ellie, but this episode paints a little bit of a different picture. Number 18, Coco Party. This is the classic situation that happens to any tribe on Survivor. If they just keep winning, they don't go to tribal council. This Coco tribe hasn't had the chance to, well, play Survivor yet, and so they're just out here celebrating James' birthday. And if you somehow forgot, like most people did, we get a reminder that there's a girl called Cassidy on this season. I bet every single person on this tribe is hungry to play Survivor, as James talks about maybe searching for an advantage on his birthday, but Lindsay straight up shuts that down right away.
Here's the thing, you know what the risk is to go off on your own.
Number 17, Carla Idol Hunt. On this blue tribe, this Coco tribe, Carla truly is the standout player right now. I feel like we've gotten the most screen time from her as she went to Risky Rock in episode 1. Remember, in that situation, she decided to protect her vote. That's gonna be important. She finds a Beware advantage, and she knows this means she's gonna end up losing her vote until she does some random task. And in a crazy turn of events, she decides to put the advantage back. She doesn't want the Beware. Obviously, we're gonna backpedal in a minute, but I really like this initial move here. Stick with your gun, stick with your strategy. In the very first episode, she wanted to protect her vote, and she did the exact same thing here. Sometimes the best thing to do on Survivor is not to do the thing that they want you to do. All this talk ends up being for nothing, as she will end up doing it, but we'll talk about that a little later in the video. Number 16, NECA flashback. Ultimately, I think the goal of the Survivor producers is to give us at least one flashback from every single player by the time the game's finished. We get this tweet from Victoria about how there might be a little too many backstories every single episode. Basically, she's part of a mission team from northeastern Nigeria, and part of her motivation for being on Survivor playing this hard game is to win that $1 million to help that team. Number 15, Beware advantage. From this moment, we see Carla and James talking together. You get the sense that Carla's gonna go back and get the advantage. And we get this awesome tweet from Eric about how hilarious it is the way Carla's talking to James here. Obviously, she ends up getting all the beads, so this is kind of a pointless conversation, but I really think in Survivor, you should never second guess yourself. Whatever your initial decision is, whatever your gut tells you to do, go with that decision and stick with your guns. This ends up being the exact same Beware advantage we saw Cody get last episode, but it's pretty cool how we see different people handle the Beware advantage. Number 14, Carla on beat hunt. As we were saying last episode, Cody was in a little bit of a time crunch. He needed to get it done really quick to get his vote back, so he ends up going to his allies Jesse and NECA to help him out here. But that means Jesse and NECA, really only Jesse now because NECA goes home, but he knows about Cody's hidden immunity idol. Carla's able to do this all by herself, meaning no one on her tribe knows about her idol. And we see Carla approach every single person differently. She's able to get it from James pretty easily as she says she wants to get her wife a birthday present with the beads. Gio's a little more difficult, but Carla's able to pull it off by saying, "What can I sell you for that bead?" She ends up pulling the same move on Cassidy and Lindsay, trading her earring for the beads and just being like, "Look, here's my earring so you'll always remember me." Ryan definitely ends up being the weirdest one out of all of them, as he ends up wanting to like trade a sock, which is completely disgusting. Number 13, immunity and reward. It's a pretty cool turtle puzzle, but we've already seen this in the new era of Survivor. You're gonna leap off a tall tower into the water, climb a stack of crates and dive into the water to release a key. Use that key to unlock some puzzle pieces to solve the turtle puzzle. The first 2 tribes to finish are gonna win immunity and reward, where the rewards a huge toolkit and lots of fruit for the first tribe to finish, and the second tribe to finish gets a smaller toolkit with a little bit of less fruit. And Jeff has a little bit of fun for whatever the third place tribe is.
Last tribe to finish, otherwise known as the losers.
Number 12, the challenge. I gotta say, Noelle's a huge inspiration. That was awesome watching her do this challenge. Like every single part of it, the jumping, the climbing, the swimming, the diving deep into the water, it was all awesome. I'm gonna give Ryan the award for the best dive with this performance right here. I almost forgot to include this in my notes, but we get this awesome tweet about Gio looking for an advantage. If you're a Survivor superfan, you know the early parts of a challenge are probably gonna be useless. It's the puzzle that's the great equalizer. Baka comes in first, Coco comes in second, and that means third place, which is the same thing as the loser's gonna be this Vessi Red tribe. Number 11, journey time. I was expecting this to happen last episode, but here we go. We see it here in episode 3. Same kind of thing as Survivor 41 and Survivor 42. The winning tribe picks someone from the losing tribe, and ultimately some other people as well, to go on some massive journey to hopefully win an advantage. We see Noelle, James, and Owen go on the journey, but that's not what I want to talk about here. If you were paying attention, you would realize Noelle went in the boat and the boat took off when her leg was literally still on the challenge. Number 10, Vessi after challenge. NECA apologizes here for losing the challenge. We're only in episode 3 and she's already choked 2 puzzles, and really she just feels heartbroken about needing to play Survivor here, that whole process of voting people out. NECA goes up to Dwight and says, "Look, it's gotta be Noelle here. I'm not voting Cody or Jesse's name down." That's not good for Dwight. Him and Noelle are supposed to be really close. Number 9, Jesse and Cody. We briefly touched on this at the very start of the video, but Jesse and Cody are in a really tough situation. It's the classic tale. Early on in Survivor, do you go with tribe strength or alliance trust? NECA's one of the weaker members on this Vessi tribe, but last episode they decided to go all in with that alliance and kept NECA safe and voted Justine out instead. They're regretting that decision a little bit here, as the vote's either between NECA or Noelle. I understand the need to keep tribe strength. It's scary to constantly lose every single challenge, but how the numbers work on this tribe, you're almost forced to keep NECA in the game now. Remember, we touched on this earlier, Dwight and Noelle don't fully trust Jesse anymore, which means if NECA gets voted out here, we're gonna have a 2-2 split between Cody and Jesse and Noelle and Dwight. This whole thing could have been prevented if they voted NECA out last episode. Number 8, Jesse flashback. I think Jesse knows what he needs to do here, but he's having trouble as he views NECA as his mom. And how do you vote your own mom out of Survivor? Don't worry, Rob C makes that joke right here. Number 7, Risky Rock. I'm not sure if we can truly call it Risky Rock, as they go on a different adventure from episode 1. I think Noelle plays this situation perfectly. She comes off as honest as possible, and James and Owen respect it and want to help her out. Number 6, Noelle flashback. I'm really shook it took us until episode 3 to get Noelle's flashback. Pre-season, I would have said guaranteed 100% Noelle is getting a flashback in episode 1. She's a huge athlete, had a lacrosse scholarship, but with an accident ends up losing her leg. Pushing through, finding a way, makes the Paralympics and sets a US record. Number 5, Risky Rock decision. It ends up being the same game mechanic that we saw in episode 1, but we also see this tweet from Sandra about how this is the confessional spot in Island of the Idols. I'm happy we're finally coming back to this, because I've been wondering since episode 1 if it was going to be a different advantage every time or the same hidden immunity idol. A little anticlimactic, but also a little bit smart on James and Owen's end. They play it safe and let Noelle solely get the advantage. Number 4, Noelle returns. I was so impressed and so proud of Noelle. For when she returns, she's not going to tell anyone about her advantage, and she had the perfect spot to hide it in her leg, as we get this awesome Mike Bloom tweet about the game is afoot, but she just couldn't keep her mouth shut. Number 3, Noelle and Dwight. Literally instantly couldn't keep her mouth shut. She goes to Dwight right away and tells him about her advantage. It ends up being a steal a vote advantage, and in this moment I knew Noelle and Dwight were gonna be safe this episode. It's simple math. If the numbers are 3-2 and you have a steal a vote, you now have the numbers. And really, that's my only complaint with the episode. She ends up not needing the advantage, and we don't get really an explanation on how this ends up happening. Number 2, travel Trouble Council. Kind of a nothing Trouble Council, nothing really interesting going on, but obviously we see this moment where Jeff loves Jesse. And Noelle's answer makes me 100% think she's gonna be playing her steal a vote, but I got super confused when she doesn't play the advantage before people start casting their votes. Number 1, NECA voted out. Anyways, congratulations ADJ, you're this week's buff giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week and click right here for every Survivor season ranked from worst to best. Alright, here we go. I'm so tired. Hey, what's going on?